Happy New Year, happy 2026. I'm doing a bit of a different one today. This is going to be just me talking to camera. I'm going to try and do it all in one take because I am going to talk about something very close to my heart. It is the 7th of January as I record this. And yesterday was it was the day before. It was 365 days without alcohol. So I wasn't planning to talk about this, but I've been talking about it all week on my social media, and a lot of people have been very responsive. I've had so many people commenting and sending me private messages, either saying, yeah, I did it too. I gave up 10 months ago or 6 years ago, completely changed my life, gave up 8 years ago, or I'm really wanting to give up. And yeah, I think I was a little bit embarrassed to admit as a health coach that I was still drinking. I wasn't a real drunk. I've never been a drunk. I've never been an alcoholic. And I've always sort of felt like I was getting away with it and just but I knew that I wanted to give it up. I've wished I wasn't a drinker for a very long time. And so I'm just going to talk about it. I'm going to talk off the cuff. I haven't got a script. I don't have an outline. I just have a lot of thoughts in my head because I've been reflecting a lot in the last few days, because that year went really fast, actually. If you're thinking about giving up drinking, I want you to know that a year goes really fast and it's not as hard as you might think. And that's why I want to talk about it, because you don't really know what it's going to be like until you've done it. And I've been drinking for a long time. So I'm 63. So I gave up when I was 62. But yeah, like I said, I was never a real drunk. I know I've never had a blackout. I think I vomited once when I was about 20 and I drank 3/4 of a bottle of overproof rum, which I'd never done before. Haven't done since either. Never forgotten things, maybe like bits of conversations, but no one's ever kind of said, oh yeah, and you were doing this. And, I'm one of those people that can, keep it under wraps in a way. So my problem was that I didn't really have enough of a problem to kind of force me to give it up. And people I've known that did have had problems, would just say, oh no, you don't need to worry. You're not an alcoholic. So I was always like, oh great, I'm not an alcoholic. Because I used to ask people, do you think I'm an alcoholic? Because I would always want to drink nearly every day. And that was my issue. So throughout my drinking adult life, when did I start? Probably 15, 16, 16 would have been like weekends, going to the disco, and we did used to get pretty drunk then. But yeah, I've drunk pretty consistently. There's been periods like when I was backpacking, in South America. I think there was quite a long period where I didn't drink, and that was just easy, but there was always weed then, so there was always something. And pretty much from when my son was a baby, that was mother's little helper. My son's 29 now, so I drank pretty consistently, pretty much every night. It was just sort of a coping mechanism, that thing that you do just to kind of take the pressure off and just relax and let go of the day and ease into the evening. And it always feels better when you're cooking the dinner and you've still got a few hours of the day. But yeah, over the years, I've had 3 months here, 100 days there. I did 100 days, that turned into 111 days, but I never decided this is forever until the 5th of January, 2025, when it was a very spontaneous decision. I was given a bottle of whiskey for Christmas, and I'd sort of drunk that over about 5 days, and then I went and bought another one. And then I was sort of drinking that slowly. And I woke up on Monday, the 5th of January, and I knew that there was a bit of whiskey left in that second bottle. And I thought, whatever's there, I'm going to drink it tonight because I won't be able to not drink it. And that really annoyed me. I was like, why can I not just leave it? Because I had been having a lot of days off in 2024. I mean, it's really normal, but it still feels like an admission. So I woke up that morning. It was a dark bottle. I couldn't see how much was left, so I poured it into a glass and I just poured it down the sink and just said, that's it. I'm not ever drinking again. And I've had people go, oh, you might change your mind, and you know, are you still not drinking? And I just know that I have to make that decision. It has to be never. Why am I telling you this? Because my life really changed a lot in 2025 for the better. And look, it was going to change anyway because I had to move out of my apartment in Sydney in February, and I had decided I didn't want to pay rent in an expensive city anymore, and I am sick of not having the time to spend trying to build my business because I'm so good at what I do and I love doing what I do so much, but I was not getting enough time to get myself out there because I had to earn a living and pay the rent. So I decided to go to Vietnam, and I got rid of 90% of my possessions, which was huge. And I know that if I had been drinking, that would have been a hell of a lot harder. There would have been so much more stress because it was really, really intense. I don't know if you've ever done anything like that, but I had a big 3-bedroom apartment, tons of furniture, tons of cooking stuff, like a lot of stuff. And I spent 2 months going through everything and getting rid of it. And that was huge. And then I just went to Vietnam as a bit of an experiment for 3.5 months. And I loved it. I came back to Australia. I did a bit of work. I did a bit of house sitting. And then I went back to Vietnam again. Now I'm back in Australia. I'm in my mum's spare room. And I'm going back next week to Vietnam on a one-way ticket. And I just feel like none of this would have happened if I was still drinking. I don't know, but I just don't think so. Loads of things changed. So I'm going to talk about all the good things that happen when you give up alcohol. I mean, I should be talking about the health aspects of it because I'm a health coach, but I think people know about that. I think most people know that it is really bad for your liver, and it's bad for your metabolism, and it's really bad for your willpower. So if you're struggling with metabolic health and with stubborn weight, like, people do not want to admit that that's the reason they can't lose weight. They really don't. And I was one of those people, actually. You know, I actually got to the point this year. This is one of the huge things that happened to me this year. And I don't think it's the alcohol by itself, but alcohol definitely played a part in the fact that I can pretty much eat whatever I want now. I also feel like I've left behind this part of myself, not really hanging out with lots of people, just not missing it at all. And I started thinking about, it was like this, I've left a part of my identity behind, like this persona. It's not like I had to avoid social situations because I would be tempted to drink because I really wanted to drink. It was more like start to realize there are people that you do want to hang out with and you can still have fun with. And then there are other situations that just aren't that interesting or fun. And that you were just getting on the level with people just so you could kind of tolerate it. That's sort of how it is. So I don't miss any of it, and I feel like my life is so much better. I've just been in a great mood all year. I'm definitely much more productive, much more committed. It's been a lot easier. Just get on with things. It's just so much easier. You sleep better, you feel better, you're more motivated, you're happier, and life just works a lot better. So I just want to encourage anyone out there who's thinking about letting go of drinking, that it's not as hard as you think it is. And it's so much better than you think it's going to be. Like, I've got quite a few friends now who've given up and they're coming out of the woodwork. It's funny, the people who've commented on my social media, like friends that I didn't know had given up. And they're all going, oh my God, it's great. And they were like proper party people. There's no one saying, oh gee, I wish I didn't give up drinking. And my app tells me that I've saved $3,300 in wine. But yeah, life just is a whole lot easier, and I just feel like the world is my oyster. Prior to last year, I don't think I really believed that things were possible. You know, you know what you want your life to be like, but there's always a part of you going, I don't really know if that's realistic. You kid yourself. You kind of can string yourself along and convince yourself that you're not really drinking that much and it's not really impacting your life that much. I found out I had osteoporosis. Well, most osteopenia. I'm right on the verge in 2 of my vertebrae of osteoporosis. I'm on the border of osteopenia. And I did a big deep dive on that. And it was probably the alcohol. And most people I know have never had a DEXA scan. So there's probably a lot of people out there who don't realize that they have got porous bones from drinking alcohol. It's not something that you get told that causes osteoporosis, but it's one of the big factors to do with the absorption of minerals. So many reasons not to drink. Motivation, willpower, just choices that you make. It's not as hard as you think it's going to be. It really isn't. It's good. Like, you know straight away that you feel much better. So I'm never going back. That's it for me. I'm done. I felt really stupid at the age of 62 that I was still like having this little internal battle most days. And I think I got away with it because everything else I do is pretty healthy. The food I eat is healthy. I do lots of exercise. I'm not a stressed person. I sleep pretty well. So I was just getting away with that. But actually I wasn't, because I've done damage to my bones. So I hope you feel encouraged or inspired. I would love to hear your story. If you have given up or if you've been thinking about it, just do it. 20% of people give up on their New Year's resolution within the first week. So if you have decided not to drink, don't be one of those 20%. Be one of the 9% like I was last year that makes it through to the end of the year. So if you're still listening, thank you so much. Please leave me a comment. Please leave me a like. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. It was just a big long ramble. If you're still here, wow. And stay tuned, because I have got a really exciting announcement coming up. But take care and follow through with your goals and intentions and resolutions for this year.